So we're here.
We're here.
We're live.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it strikes me how like funny it's going to be to watch these back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hilarious because like every time we're like, oh, that was good, but in the back of our minds, like, in the very episode, we're like, yeah, that was good, but like we know we're like, fuck, we got a long way to go, but we're proud of it. But we're like, Jesus, it's going to be a long stretch before we can just be like, yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like, yeah, I don't know, 5-10 years. You know,
we'll probably more.
Yeah,
we're on delete.
Yeah, it'll just be so funny to see that, like, the Netflix special, Josh Jones, and it's coming out on Netflix, and there's you at 3 a.m. just like private,
Yeah.
just like, but yeah, no, so it's funny to me, like, I wonder where we'll be in 10 years.
Yeah, man. What's the 10-year plan? I guess we're gonna be, cheers. I guess we want to be rich first, and hopefully it's through comedy. But yeah, I think we'll find out pretty quickly if it's gonna work or not. Like once we're in America,
it's gonna be pretty interesting because, listen, it's been a long pandemic, bro.
It has. The floodgates are about to open. It's gonna be the 15th. I don't know if you. There was an announcement today on the 15th.
I have purposefully tried to not be abreast
of
anything that's going on because I like to find out through memes.
Yeah. And trying to interpret them. Not that they're like too sort of ridiculous, riddleless.
Yeah.
Those memes, and cryptic is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
But I meant avoid instead.
Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah, thank you. Call me Theo, not. But no. I mean, I keep up to date with like the sort of the big stuff, and when I'm at work, it's always like they're business owners, so they're always talking about that shit.
Yeah.
So the 15th, the Auckland border is going to open, and fucking the COVID is going to spread like hell off that baby.
I, for one, am ready for it. Like, listen,
the Persian New Zealand it's here.
It's going to be here.
All the oldies. I mean, you must think that like sort of COVID. I mean, I've got no idea what I'm talking about, but hear me out. COVID's kind of been sort of filtered through like all of these people that have been sort of subject to all these different types of diseases and stuff. Like back in the day when like ages ago, when like a tribe would go like into another tribe and everyone would get wiped out because they were sort of this is way back when, because they weren't used to sort of the strains of viruses that they like both sort of built antibodies for.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like true to agree with like how COVID sort of developed. It's been through fucking just about everyone from a bat all the way here now. It's a different strain. Do you think it's just going to fuck up just like a lot of people? Healthy people.
Yeah, there's an interesting book called Guns, Germs, and Steel, which is about how colonialism, like a lot of the colonialism that happened was really only successful because smallpox, and like a lot of other diseases. You know what I mean? That
some of
white
favorites.
people I love smallpox. Yeah. Listen, I don't let that box get too big, but if it's small, I fuck with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a little.
Not a big fan of the larger varieties of pox.
No,
but it's a cute name, and
yeah, it's a
cute way to go. You're just like, what do you do for smallpox?
Smallpox, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a horrific photo from the early 19th century, the early 20th century, of two boys the same age, I think they're about 10 or 12, and one's been vaccinated for smallpox and one hasn't, and one of them's gotten it. And they've got them standing next to each other, like
one of those horrific before and after videos for like tooth whitening, but it's smallpox.
Yeah.
You don't see those advertisements very much.
Yeah,
but we should do.
But yeah, no, I think like definitely living in big cities, I think you're like exposed to more, because like the smell of piss cannot be healthy.
Like living in France, living in Paris.
Yeah,
it's legal to piss on like the side of the road. Did you know that? I
did not.
That's a legal thing. You need to let it go.
Listen, when there's no public indecency laws.
That's also true, isn't it?
It's like, he's gonna be. I don't know that was true, but I imagine like how bad could it be? the public indecency laws. It's like you must have to be fisting yourself
Right,
in
right.
France before they're like, okay, you can't do that.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Because if you're beating off, I mean, if you can
It's a
piss me
three-finger
anywhere,
rule.
yeah,
They got
Yeah.
a three-finger rule with like
Yeah.
anal penetration.
yeah.
In public.
Imagine someone, you know.
It's like a knuckle rule. They're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
oh, that's two. He's good. She's got long fingers.
Yeah. Fuck. And she's all like, you know, you know, and then the cop's gonna be like, yeah. No, madame, it's only 2 fingers. It's no public indecency. We waited till he has a whole fist.
That's beautiful. The French.
The French. Yeah, I reckon if the floodgates open, we are going to see, because the thing about New Zealand, okay, this is my favorite statistic about New Zealand that I've ever heard. Our healthcare
I've
system.
got a better one.
Fuck yeah. I cannot wait.
You know it already.
Our healthcare system is number 47 in the world.
Number 47.
Yeah. No, our healthcare system is like number 45 in the world.
Okay.
There are 37 developed countries on the planet.
Right. What?
There are third world countries that have a better medical system than we do.
That's funny, man.
That's fucking hilarious.
That's really good.
So I reckon when it just opens up, and Auckland is as good as it gets.
Mm.
And I know that people in New Zealand are generally very like, oh my god, fucking, and everyone likes to think that every area of this country is equal to each other.
Mm.
It's not. Hey, do you have cancer and you live in Christchurch? You're gonna fucking die, bro.
That's unfortunate.
That's it.
Are you under 16? Sorry. There's no
Sorry.
Make-A-Wish for you people.
Yeah.
Mm.
Fuck that. What, you think John Cena's gonna fly all the way here? No.
Yeah. You are definitely not going to see him.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. But yeah, no, it's true. You know, it's like Australia has access to 60% of the pharmaceuticals that America does.
Right.
Because America makes all of it.
Mm.
Like they get it manufactured other places, but they have all the patents. So in America, you're more likely to survive rare diseases and cancers and shit in America than anywhere else in the world by like quite a large margin. But obviously financially it'll fucking wreck you if you don't have like insurance, you know what I mean? Like you'll survive, but like the debt will kill you.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is fine.
Crushing debt.
Yeah, that crushing debt. But yeah, no, dude. So we're number 35. Oh, sorry, number 45. And there's 37 developed countries in the world.
I love how New Zealand were the only really the Māori were the only sort of race to ever. We call them a race. They're a race. There's a race of color.
I have no idea.
What is a race? The English race. No.
I don't know.
That's a tricky one.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Because we understand what kind of racism is. It's like discriminatory against a group of people.
Yeah.
But anyway, this group of people here, Māoris,
Yeah.
they're the only ones to wipe out the whole genealogy. They got rid of the fucking Moa.
Oh, really? I've heard so much shit about the Moa. Like when I was in social studies in like year 10, my teacher, Mr. Cowie, was like, they reckon there's still Moa, you know, deep in the fucking rainforest in New Zealand. There's fucking Moa. And there's a fucking
Moa's like the Bigfoot of New Zealand.
Yeah, right. And he's like, oh, there's an expedition that wants to go and find one. They need to raise $10,000. And as like a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, I was like, $10,000. Shit, they're never gonna get that money. But now at 25, it's like $10,000 is not nothing, but it's not that much money.
Yeah, it's like probably. Yeah, it's like 6 months saving.
Yeah, it's like
grand.
Yeah, it's like if they said, oh, they need $10 million at 25, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But 10 grand to go into a range, it's like you could raise that money.
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, that's
You could
that's
raise
a
that money.
GoFundMe.
Yeah. You
People
know?
get hundreds of thousands of dollars when they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm dying of cancer and I'm I have a puppy shelter. I work in a puppy shelter or just some bullshit like that, like this person's a good person.
Yeah. So yeah, look, it's a lot.
Usually it's a lot about image, like with a statistic like that, you've got it's 45th out of it's already out of like the 37 developed countries, right? So as a developed country, it's worse than such an image thing. It's like when I went to I remember when I was like biking around, I was looking for car parts. And so I went to like a few pick parts. It's going just out of Auckland. They really just don't give a fuck about even in like reasons. Because you've got South Auckland, you've got West Auckland, East Auckland.
Which are really like different planets to each other.
Exactly, but it's still Auckland. But like it's still so close to the sort of the hub of New Zealand, the should be capital of New Zealand. And I guess it's only for historical reasons that it's not in government. I don't really know actually, but
it used to be.
New Zealand's all image, man. It's all image, you know, like the footpaths are fucked when you go just outside of Auckland, like the public transport is good, only in central Auckland. You have to wait for
yeah.
like everywhere apart from Auckland is just so shit. And no, apart from central Auckland, it's so shit. Like there's just no money put into everywhere else. It's just an image thing. People fly into Auckland, they fuck around here, they don't go west, they don't go east, they don't go south. Because if they did, they have a harsh reality, like
they learn pretty quickly, yeah. It's
like,
not great.
New Zealand sucks. It's just a very small, just almost like a few suburbs. It's nice. That's probably true. A few suburbs of New Zealand are nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, most of it's image, because like again, tourism and dairy were our biggest industries. I know I've mentioned this in the pub before, but like you know the whole clean green thing. We got the highest rate of endangered species per capita in the entire world.
Yeah.
Because all the farming runoff will poison fresh waterways. And so a lot of freshwater species are like really in trouble.
Yeah, we just do all this shit to sort of make ourselves be relevant at the time.
We could have gone nuclear. I think it was back in the 80s.
Yeah, a while back when.
Yeah, they could have gone nuclear. And nuclear power is the cleanest form of energy. That's pretty much infinitely renewable. I mean, yeah, the waste of it is something we have to deal with.
Yeah.
But guess what? We can shoot it into space.
Yeah. I think that's the whole thing, right? You know, the image behind being green and being morally bound to sort of like those sorts of like decisions. Like New Zealand are massive on that. Like the gay vote, gay rights, the women's vote.
Yeah.
Like we're always like ahead of the time, ahead of the sort of the others, or like at least on par for like all of those decisions. But then we neglect fucking everything else.
Yeah,
we don't give a shit.
So here's an interesting thing actually talking about. So okay, you know how I found that there was a business grant, right? The government will grant, has grants for businesses.
Yeah.
I got a call from a guy from WINS, which is like the dole office, I guess, working income. And he asked me, hey, so you applied for this grant? I said, yeah. And he goes, are you on the benefit of the dole or welfare, right? And I said, no. And he goes, oh, well, you can only get it if you're on welfare. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah. And he's like, yeah, just apply for welfare and then you can get it.
That amazes me.
And I was just like, really? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay, but like, I don't get it. Cause like, so if I was just like working, if I was just a guy working full time, whatever, and I had this fantastic idea, which I do, you just wouldn't, you know what I mean? It's like, is it not in the best interest to like actually give the grant to businesses that are going to succeed?
Yeah.
Even if that guy's not on welfare, they're like, no. He's like, but it's he just works there. He doesn't fucking.
He's
just a guy on the phone, right? So I don't blame him for that. What am I going to do? Get mad at that guy? He just works there.
Of course not.
So yeah, so it was weird, man. It was weird. So no, he's just like, just apply for welfare. And I was like,
I guess we can ponder behind the reasons, like of the rationale of like why that is. But
yeah, my dad actually came up with something. He said, I'm pretty sure, and this is why I'm bringing it up, because you said it's all about image. He goes, I'm pretty sure they only give it to people if they're on welfare. Business grants, dude, $600 a week to cover expenses. They'll pay for your first start. It's a grant, so that the stock renovations for premises,
you don't have to pay back a grant.
Yeah, it's a grant. They'll buy first lot of stuff. They'll do renovations on your premises. They'll buy equipment. They'll buy all sorts of shit for you. And I was like, okay. He goes, pretty sure they only do it because for the statistics.
Yeah.
So they can say like, oh, we had all these people on welfare. Look how many people we brought out of welfare. And of course on paper it's like, oh, look at how good this government is. Yeah. Right. But they don't know that they actually encourage people to go on welfare to then get them off of welfare
at the expense of us.
Yeah. So it's weird. Yeah. Like it's mostly smoke and mirrors. Like,
and I wonder if also there's like a weird thing where it's like, if like this, if a certain business does make it, that's coming from welfare, there'd be this thing where like, well,
Yeah, we made them.
we were there.
Yeah.
We were there from day one.
Yeah.
And we made you. We fronted the Capitol for that.
Yeah.
But anywho, yeah.
So, it's weird. It's a weird thing.
Bunch
Yeah,
of shit.
I think we're gonna be in trouble because, well, we're not gonna be in trouble. We're gonna be fine because we've been living in this boring dystopia for ages now. But
yeah, we're completely numb to it now.
yeah, but the rest of the country is gonna be in trouble. We had like 200 cases the other day, which like, and it's so funny because like in the context of the rest of the world, because it's like living in New Zealand is like living in a fucking fishbowl. Well, there's a whole planet around you. Yeah. Because there's states in the United States that are getting like thousands and thousands a day.
Yeah, it's like we're calling a fish now.
And now we're like, oh, we got 200. Oh shit. It's just like, but
reaches record high.
Yeah.
New Zealand Herald, man, I want to throw up every time I read that.
Yeah.
There was a cool article in there that day. It was like it was something about like a relationship. It was like woman listens to phone and finds husband cheating on her. She's not even famous.
Right.
It wasn't even like it wasn't like a celebrity sort of
like, just lady from like
the average Sally.
Yeah. Fuck.
That's where we're at. It's a British tabloid.
That's where we're at.
That's what I see. But anywho,
yeah.
Comedy's back. You
Comedy's
performed
back,
this
yeah,
week.
it's weird.
How did we watch? I think you had something else to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think we're going to watch the rest of the country collapse because I think with 200 cases a day in Auckland, it's just going to go immediately to like other parts of the country.
I think we're at 8. I think we're at 8 now. 8,000.
Okay.
Total cases, and they're all here.
So that's going to be fun. So I think people are just going to fucking like flee the city.
I wonder how that works, really.
We're going to watch like Christchurch literally collapse because like they've got what, like 5 ICU beds and a tent.
You think
back?
There's there's this one lake right here, though.
Right.
It's just outside of Rotorua.
Okay.
And they've got 3 ICU beds in their DHB in the hospital. 3. So hopefully they do okay. Yeah. Watch the space. It's gonna be a lot of death. But yeah, it's not gonna be good because out of the 8,000 people, supposedly that it's not. I don't think it's a random statistic that came up. I read it on the old into web the other day. But out of like that many people that are basically in Auckland, there have to be a big not a percentage of that, but like some people that are untested. They have asymptomatic people who don't give a fuck. They're like, I better work. Yeah, quite a few circumstances that situations that they could be in that would mean that they don't want to get tested. They're all going to leave, and also the people that catch it, like on the 14th, 13th, the 15th, just before they're about to leave. Doing the people are going to be moving around just before they go, and they're gonna catch the virus, and it's going to be like the it's going to be like the New Orleans floods.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a surge.
It's going to be
fun indeed. But yeah, comedy's back.
Comedy's finally back.
Yeah, you perform. Truth be told, what a nice little venue that.
Really nice.
The sun though, not ideal, especially the position of the sun. Everyone was talking about it, but you, Jimmy, the only ones to bring glasses, but for some reason, took them off whilst performing.
Yeah.
I wasn't bothered by it.
No. The sun was in my eyes, but I don't know. It just didn't really bug me.
That dazzled it.
Yeah, you gotta outshine. What was that fucking raw ass quote from the video game? I survived because the fire inside me burned brighter than the fire around me or something.
Yeah.
And it comes from some like real innocuous character too. And you're like, yo, did he just say the most raw quote I've ever heard in my fucking life?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Talk about getting heckled by the fucking sun.
Dude, it was crazy. No, but like the thing is that, when I talk to like crowds, I talk to like individual people. So like having glasses on, I just felt like there was just a little bit less of like a
connection.
Yeah, flow there, because I think I was looking at people and they didn't know I was looking at them.
Right.
So like taking the glasses off, I could actually like look someone in the eye and say some heinous shit.
Yeah.
And then they would be like, like hell yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. When I perform, I look above people's heads. I don't look at anyone. I don't look at anyone. I perform terribly when I do look at people. That's when I start to crumble. That's when I start fucking up. And you've seen it on a few occasions for sure, where I've actually just like completely unable to go on, just completely forget my place. It takes me out of the routine I put in structure. So yeah, I find it a lot easier. I find it a lot easier to stare at a wall or just look above people, where I deserve to be.
Yeah, on a wall
or above them.
Above it. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Someone was telling me the other day. A brother of mine was telling me public speaking is like the #1 phobia.
Yeah, over
I had no idea.
over like death. It's like people are like more afraid of public speaking than they are of dying.
Oh,
That was a Seinfeld joke.
fair enough.
So it was interesting. It was a lot of fun. It was good to see old David. It's funny when I got there, David. When I got there, like I thought I saw someone doing like yoga on like because it was just basically this old man like lying down, and then like that picnic blanket with those like 3 girls that Shelley was talking to. Did you see Shelley perform?
I did not.
They were the girls in the back anyway.
Okay, yeah.
It was just those 2 and Ollie and Julia, and so I went over and had like a yarn with like Julia, and then went to sit down. It wasn't just some old man doing yoga. It was Dave laying flat on his back, already obviously drunk, drinking something conspicuous out of a Primo, like a chocolate milkshake, plastic bottle.
Yeah.
And it was already off his chops.
He's a wild guy. I have met him so many times, and every time he forgets my name.
Yeah, 100%. Same here.
He's always like,
"Oh my God,
I know you." Yeah, what was your name?
I wouldn't forget a pretty face or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, you do have a very pretty face. I'm sure he would not forget the face, but the names are always like. I love that guy though.
He's the best.
So many times we've been performing on just a random Tuesday, and some guy's drinking away his problems in the corner, and it's just a weird vibe. And he's asleep in the front row.
Yeah.
He
never fell asleep. And they're putting like bar stools in the corner store.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, it'd be interesting to see him actually just fall straight out of the chair, straight out the stool.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. It's funny that it hasn't already happened.
I don't know if that's talent on his part.
Is there any liver issues?
Yeah. The fact that he can just kind of like keep it together enough to be like, wait, how we all got invited? Let's play that one. Which, it was fun. I mean, it's weird how like parties and stuff, people are they're not against parties and hanging out now, but like the whole COVID thing, and you can't do this, you can't do that. Inviting someone to your house, like a bunch of people to go, drink and get fucked up. People are like, oh, how could you?
Yeah.
It's weird, but it's just like, we used to do that all the time. I used to be throwing up in a stranger's toilet. Yeah. And some girl would be holding my hair back for me.
Yeah. Or throwing up in a stranger's bed or the outdoor couch, perhaps.
Yeah. I'd be asleep on an outdoor couch and I'd get fucking berated. They're like, hey, that's not for that.
Stop that.
Yeah. You're like 30 steps away from my bed, bro.
Yeah, there's definitely that level. Like I remember I was telling a client, I was talking to a customer a while back after I got a haircut, and she goes to me, like, were you outside? And it's like sort of comments like that.
Yeah.
It was like, well, obviously, obviously not. But there was that sort of that disappointment. Like, I'm not angry at you. Like when your parents are like, I'm not angry at you. I'm just disappointed. It was that sort of feeling. But yeah, that definitely runs very deep. Especially with like the whole, the horse riding thing, the Wanaka couple, the Auckland couple that went to Wanaka, everyone had their hands in the air. That's definitely still very much there. But I think our hands are all going to be in the air soon. Once the borders open up and bars open. I went for a bar open. It would be nice to just go for a beer and talk to a stranger.
I'm gonna tongue kiss every stranger I find. Man, woman, old, young.
Everyone's gonna be on a high, dude. It's gonna be sick.
It's gonna be sick. I'm gonna go to
Let's
the
go
gym.
for a night out, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm gonna be in a bar. I'm gonna just see people and be like, you.
Yeah, we'll have 2 beers together and we're just gonna split up. Like, yeah, it's been good, but yeah. I want to talk to someone like I just want to go and get freaky with some weirdos.
Yeah, like someone's grandma sitting in the corner. I'm gonna tell her she doesn't look a day over 30, even though she's looked way more than a day over 30 for like, you know.
Yeah, for 40 years.
40 years. Yeah. It's tight.
Yeah, it's new.
Yeah. No, but you know what? It's what it is. It's what it is.
So yeah, comedy's gonna be back soon. That's good.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to just like, you know,
go to like a smoky pub again. Not this like outdoor bullshit where
I'm excited to watch people be so uninterested in vaping inside.
Yeah. And like having like conversations and like turning their back to while you perform.
Yeah. There's a feeling you get when you know that they have no idea what's coming. Because if someone goes in front of you and it sucks, it kind of that vibe carries forward. And as you walk up there, they're like, you're like, oh, they have no idea what's about to hit them. They have no idea what's coming.
It's always funny
up there and you're like, bah! And they're like, yeah, fucking yeah.
It's also funny when like when people are like non-interested in your like in the fact that you're doing stand-up, and they'll just hear like certain like keywords, you know, like they'll hear like pedophilia or you know, they'll hear like fucking 70-year-old in the house, or like autism, and then they'll just like sort of like they'll turn around Michael Jackson, and they'll like turn around from that and just it's completely out of context. And I do enjoy the squirmish look on their face.
Yeah, I love I love the crickets. You know,
I think I'm still. I think I need to learn to enjoy those. Bombing. I think I need to start getting more comfortable with bombing, especially with fucking Kiwi crowds.
My favorite thing is because I'm not really going there to make them laugh. Like I say shit to make me, and this is a weird thing about my life. And this sounds super narcissistic, but like I really just say shit to make me laugh. But other people just happen to find it really funny as well. Yeah. So when it comes to like going up there, like yeah, I'm saying shit that I think is funny. Which is why my set changes so much. Because I get bored and it's not funny to me anymore. But I'll go up there and I'll say some shit. And if it doesn't go well, I just begin to kind of, I just want to wrestle them into a depression with me. It's like, you know what I mean? My thing is just like, okay, I'm taking you with me. We're going down. And that generally kind of saves it in a weird way because it's like, it just kind of becomes a vibe of its own. It's kind of like a hell in a handbasket kind of thing, you know? So I miss that. I miss, yeah.
I wonder if we'll get to the level of like, of tomfoolery that like comedians like Norm and like even Andrew Clay does now. What they'll do is they'll do things like they'll sort of like they'll really feed off the bomb. I know Andrew Clay does. I watched him the other day and he was like he went up on stage and he did like a minute without even saying like a proper word. It was just sort of like basically like what Patrick did. I want to rewatch that set Andrew Clay did because he did like basically the same thing, and then before then he'd done like he was just sort of like just talking complete garbage and just like meandering around, and he was just going for as long as he could without saying a joke. I think it went for like 2 minutes without like saying anything with any meaning. I wonder if we'll get to that level of just like trusting your own ability. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think the trick is you know, narcissism. Just a little bit, and yeah, just
narcissism and confidence. Sort of, they're good buddies. They can be. You just need to marry them up.
Yeah, you do. You know. Look, I mean, you know, talent is it's a rare commodity in this community. So just get up there and do it. Yeah. You know. Yeah, and you're actually funny. So it's like, you know,
And
you
vice
gotta,
versa.
you just gotta, I don't know. It's just, I don't know why. I think like I'm such a bad person to ask advice
Yeah.
from, like when it,
Have confidence in yourself, just do it, you're good.
yeah,
You're
I
good.
got a brother of mine who's like, his advice is what you could tell him he doesn't give a fuck about what you tell him. Because he'll always go like, you know, my advice, do what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And on the surface, that sounds really cool. You're like, you know, we'll do what I want. But the more you think about it, you're like,
Fuck you.
yeah, that's such like a non-committal fucking, and it's brilliant. I use it all the time.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I feel like yeah, I feel like I'm such a bad guy to ask advice from because my advice is always centered around. Because I guess what I do is I don't really give a shit, so I just get up there and just do whatever I want.
Mm.
And I guess not everyone operates from that kind of place of just utter contempt for the audience.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I don't know. People are like, because I've had people ask me like, how do you do that? And I'm like, just what do you mean? How do you just do it? And they're like, okay, dickhead. You know what I mean?
It's almost the equivalent of do it well.
Yeah. It's like when someone's like, hey man, just don't be sad.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, I've been healed.
Just don't be depressed. Yeah.
You know? I want to know, did you get that healing? I don't know, like get married that.
I love those Black American churches where they just like they go up and they get healed, and then they just go into like this reverberated state of spasms.
Yeah.
And, but they're all in on it. They're all in on it.
I think that's the healing part.
Yeah.
I think the spasms are a red herring.
Mm. I would love to see a great compilation of just like the non sort of reactive sort of people who sort of they're not sort of in on the whole ordeal.
Yeah.
And then there's this sort of getting slapped around by this fucking big black priest.
Yeah.
And everyone just gives him shit. And he can't come back.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I like that.
That'd be a great comp. I'd love to watch that.
That'd be a great conversation. I want to get healed.
I want to get healed. Hell yeah.
I want to get healed.
It would take a while though. There's a lot of healing to be done.
You know what? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's always just like too true, and it's just like, or someone says some shit, and you're like, oh, same, and you start going into that like flashback. You're like,
the PTSD, just like all the things that are wrong with you. But they make us. I get annoyed when people say like, I'm an anxious person, or I'm, I get depressed or whatever. These sorts of things, like they're unhealable. Like you can't fix those things.
Mm.
Like I would say that I've been an anxious person since high school, but I'm actively putting myself in like awful situations to like build. And one day I'm gonna wave anxiety away.
Mm.
It's not gonna be a part of me anymore. I feel like it's more of a personality trait rather than a condition.
Yeah.
Like anxiety is just one like example. Like depression is a tricky one. I'm not sure that will ever go away. But like you can definitely see it less and less, depending on like what you do with your day. Like how you live your life.
Yeah.
What you spend your time on.
Yeah.
I think you can fix these things.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
There's an old Roman adage that every man is a slave until he bleeds every drop of slave blood out of him.
Right.
Which was like a commentary on that. Like, yeah, there's things that will kind of pin you, but things can be overcome. I guess, with the exception of, I don't know, maybe some severe chemical imbalance or something in the brain, or I don't know, like just something that's like, for whatever reason, your brain just doesn't produce something,
totally.
or some physiological problem. Yeah, I think most people can kind of be healed. Most things, but at the same time, I don't really think about other people enough to really have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
it's just always funny when I get this weird reaction to saying that I'm going to heal my anxiety. Like, there's always like this weird reaction amongst like certain people that I've talked to about it, and they're like,
how do you do that?
Like, what are you talking about, sort of thing. Like, like I'm sort of coming at them in a weird way. But everyone's so selfish, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone like reverts back to like how it makes them feel. And really, it's like a more of like it's their own self-image.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you know, like because maybe I'm a bit anxious or maybe I'm a bit this that.
Yeah.
Who are you to say that can be fixed?
Yeah.
And
there's definitely a lot of people I think that will take some sort of thing and try to make it like a personality trait, you know? And that's always been weird to me.
I almost feel like personality traits don't even really exist. Like I've always been sort of told. I always feel like it's an ego thing. Like you are the way you are because of like the words that you speak, not because of like the way you walk, not because of like you can be like confidence is one thing, but I wouldn't say that it's sort of just the way it sort of you move through things, the way you live. But like I wouldn't say that it's like more of a personality trait. It's just like you're a confident guy. You know, I think personality traits are almost just like the ego. You know, like oh, like he's moody, or you know, like oh, he's like this or he's that. I think it's all fake. It's all vanity.
Probably most things are, yeah. I think to a degree, personality is biologically determined. If you look at like the big 5 personality model, but you can definitely do things that will change that. Like for example, if you're highly agreeable, you can get assertiveness training. And you know, pragmatically, you won't be as agreeable.
Right.
You'll still feel that agreeable. You'll still be that agreeable. You'll still be just as difficult to say no. But you know, pragmatically, you'll be able to say no, and you'll move through the world as if you weren't that agreeable. You've
got checks in place. You've built a own little sort of self-correcting process.
Yeah. There's a there's a Christian guy that was always trying to save my soul. Really lovely guy.
He's trying to save your soul.
Really lovely guy.
I usually hate those sorts of people.
He was really sweet.
If it's nice and it's from a place of love, then it's good. But when it's from a place of like contempt, almost where they look down on you, I hate those fuckers.
Yeah, there's people that stand out in Albert Park and try to hand out flyers for a cult, apparently, which you know.
Albert Park, up the road.
Yeah, it's
we can pop by there on the way home.
Which is what we all love.
I'm a fly guy. I could be a fly guy. I used to hand them out to my mother on Sundays. It was like, I think we were just like earning money. We were really poor.
Right.
And that was like one of the rarest jobs. And we would help out.
Yeah.
Fly people.
I always thought that Mitch Hedberg joke, like, you know, someone handing me a flyer is almost like they're saying, hey, you throw this away. You know?
It's funny how you remember like a lot of like Mitch Hedberg's jokes, but fuck, it's hard to remember like one-liners.
Yeah.
They're all such like good jokes.
Like Stephen Wright.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna tell you again, man. You fucking gotta watch them on the Late Late Show with that Scottish motherfucker. I remember. Ferguson. His name is. It's so funny, dude. And like right at the end of however many appearances, because you don't see every appearance. They weren't all filmed. I think he went on 22 times. I think there's like 17 that were recorded and are on YouTube. You can find them all somewhere. But right at the end, Stephen goes, "I've got to say, like, you know, none of the stuff that I've come on with was written. It's all like ad lib. And you, Mr. Ferguson, Craig Ferguson, you're one of the funniest men alive." And he says it to his, you know, the producer, the host. Stephen Wright is cool, man. Strange.
But he's fucking funny.
But not preachy at all. He's cool. Like he's one of those ones where it's like it was all comedy. It was all comedy. You've got your Bill Hicks. You've got your you know, your Chappelle's for sure now, especially nowadays. And so I asked Julia what she thought of the Dave Chappelle special.
Right.
And she said she didn't like watching American comics because it influences her too much. Her act.
Talent rubs off. I don't know what to say. Look, you know. Yeah, right.
We love each other.
Talent rubs off. You know, like I grew up watching comedy, and I grew up with a lot of American stuff.
Yeah.
I would say that like I am more, and I've watched a lot of English stuff too, but I'd say I'm very much more. I've always been an American at heart, but like I think I've always been very much more American in the way that I actually do it than, you know, like anywhere else in the world. Because there's other countries, there's other places in the world that do comedy, but like yeah, I don't know. There's something about the American like way of doing, which I think it's a lot more. I think English is a lot more story driven,
Mm.
and it's a lot more like a long sort of story with like little side roads that you circle back to.
Mm.
You know, and you circle back to the main story, and it's kind of like a long fucking thing. Whereas I think American comedy is very, very like conversational.
Mm.
You know, it's very much like it's personal. It's kind of like, you know, talking about this or that, you know, talking about your day or something that happened to you, or like, you know, sometimes it can be sort of story driven, but like it's always,
Yeah, there are certain comics.
yeah, it always feels more like what the fuck is this? Like what the like this happened, like what the fuck is that? Like it's more like that sort of feel.
I think comedy's the best comedy in the world easily.
Oh yeah. Well, it's an American art form. They created it.
It did?
Yeah. The it started with the mob. Did you know that?
No. Oh yeah, I remember you saying it. It was just
Yeah.
like Joe Pesky's would go up and
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they'll need like axed, you know, and the fucking. Actually, there's a really interesting tidbit. You blink and you'll miss it, but it's in Goodfellas,
Mm.
and they
Great
go to
movie.
the Copacabana, and he's so you know the comedy style and blah 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 blah. And it's this guy comes up and he does kind of it's really rudimentary stuff compared to now, but like, you know, the one-liners, like the sort of like, oh my wife fucking blah blah blah, blah. Yeah, sort of like almost Rodney Dangerfield-ish.
The great and late.
Yeah.
He was one of the greatest.
But yeah, no, so it was, yes, it was stuff like that. But yeah, apparently they'll just, you know, need acts for restaurants and shit, you know, and entertain people. So you know, these people would just go up and just say shit, you know, just tell jokes, and then that's where it started, was, you know, with in the little like mob restaurants apparently.
Probably even started where like the mob would just go into the mob would just add like a normal restaurant.
Yeah.
And then like the funniest guy there would just like start sort of performing, whether they liked it or not. You know, they were just going up and he was just like ripping, sort of like Don Rickles style.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the surrounding sort of restaurant.
I just love the idea
Hers.
of these mobsters sitting in like a restaurant, being like, "Hey Donnie, you know what this place needs? Somebody who likes to complain." You know what I mean?
That's a great voice, by the way. Great mob.
Thank you. I watched like several Michael. What's his name? Michael Francis. You know the mobster guy.
Not ringing any bells. I'm sorry.
It's Michael Francis. My dad was in the fucking mob. Yeah, really interesting too. But yeah, I just watched a lot of his videos, and he was like a you know, like a real mob guy. So I don't know. I guess it comes from that.
I like how you're a Mitch Hedberg guy. Yeah, Bill Hicks was good. Just a real arrogant fuck. You know? He's just talking about stuff, ideas.
I love Tim Dillon.
I know. I've been watching. I watched a good interview with him. Who's on Whitney Cummings.
Yeah, the ones with Whitney Cummings are always really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she just says some stupid shit and just corrects it. It's just him correcting her for an hour and 20 minutes. But it's quite good. I don't know. Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm not. I haven't watched too much of a stand-up. I prefer like sort of jokes more than points. You know, like most of the comics that I watch, they're sort of always making a point, but it's not a big point. It's not sort of the main part of it.
Right.
I've watched like I can't write Tim Dillon off, but the two times I watched him, he was sort of just like making a point, and it was very funny, but like it was mostly the point what he was talking about.
His whole thing was like, yeah, what the fuck?
Very smart guy.
Yeah, life's a horror.
We went to Texas though.
Yeah, went to Texas. Fucking dude, Sam, I want to go to Texas.
Wait, do you want to Colorado, right? Where
do I what?
Where do you want to go?
I want to go to Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
I go to Las Vegas.
Is that what you said?
I want to live in Vegas. Not on the strip, obviously, but like.
Don't do what Mitch Hedberg did, man.
Yeah. What did he do?
Well, he moved to Las Vegas, and he became became sort of like he performed at like a casino.
Oh, like a residency.
Yeah, and he stayed in the hotel,
Yeah.
and he just smoked metal, and just that was the end of it. He stopped going on the road.
That feels like there was a lot of things going on there.
Oh no, definitely. Like he's a fucked up guy, and he was, but yeah, it wasn't until he like really settled and got a girlfriend that enabled him. That's when like it really all set in.
Enablement, hey, it's a stinky hoe. It's a stinky hoe.
Yeah.
Um.
Anyway,
I forgot what the fuck I was saying completely.
yeah.
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, dude, American house prices are so cheap compared to here.
Oh.
The average price of a house here is about $1 million. The average house price in Auckland is 1.5. And you only take a third off to get it into American money. So $1 million US to get it into.
Is that property tax?
No, not if it's a personal home.
I need to stop speaking so quietly because I review a lot of our pods, and when I do that, because like it's easy, you can obviously understand it, but that's not the actual point. Like we're not really like we're having a conversation, but the point is like
yeah, you got to about it. Yeah. Fair. What was I saying? Yeah, so like $1 million American dollars to buy a house here.
1.2, 1.3. Yeah, it's cheaper to live in one of the greatest places to live in the world than it is to live in Auckland.
Yeah.
And not even in Auckland, really. Out of Auckland.
Yeah.
You live in Papatoga for like 1.2, dude.
Wow.
Well, I don't know, Yeah. But
no, but
it's not unrealistic comment.
Yeah.
The
house
not
prices
so
around here are like Ponsonby, which is just over there. $3 million.
Yeah.
And have a garage.
Without a garage, did you say?
Yeah, it's literally just like a little house.
Mm.
My sister and her friends have a place, and their house is like $7 million. You know, they rented obviously.
Yeah.
And it was really nice actually. The guy who owns it was was really nice, and get a really cheap rent and stuff.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, but like the prices of stuff here is like insane. When you get to the actual like affluent neighborhoods, like over in Parnell, like $7 million.
Yeah.
$10 million. There's an arts and crafts style house in Remuera.
Arts and crafts style house.
Yeah, it's like
it sounds so playful.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't understand what that means.
It's type of architecture. I think like Adam's Family meets like super colorful.
Oh, cool.
Lots of angles, lots of almost like colonial build, but like not quite. It's a little bit more sort of like American style houses, or a little bit more arts and crafts style.
I've got a picture in my head right now. Not sure, it computes at all. But well, yeah.
I want you to guess, not the purchase price of that house, but the CV, which is like the government valuation. So like oftentimes, so for people who are listening who don't understand, the CV is what the council, what the government appraises its value as.
Cool.
So the council will be like, okay, this house is $1 million.
Right. If the Queen wanted to buy the house,
yeah,
that's what they're getting it for.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But things will sell over CV. So the average house price in Auckland is $1.5 million. So the market price will be 1.5 million, but the CV may be 1.2, 1.3, right? But you pay rates based off of the CV. But the CV is often way below market price because the housing market here is so inflated. But I want you to guess how much the CV, not the market price, but the CV of this arts and crafts. And granted,
but you're giving me a few hints there.
It's a fucking huge house.
Because of the inflation, you gave me a bit of a clue there.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
Anytime. In New Zealand money, it's got a pool house, it's got a pool, it's got a whole
pool house.
Pool house, it's got a pool, there's a games room, it's a whole thing.
Is that huge house? Oh, so what is a pool house?
It's like a small, imagine a granny flat next to a pool.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
I was imagining a house, sort of like greenhouse with a pool inside, and then an extra pool. There's only one pool.
There's only one pool.
Cool. All right.
How much do you think the price of that house in Remuera is?
Remuera.
The CV, not the market price, but
Gotcha. I'm with it. Let's go 1.6.
Higher.
That's a bit higher. So 2.5?
No.
I'm way off.
What would be your wildest guess?
Okay, let's go.
In New Zealand money, house in Remuera 6, 7 bedrooms.
Oh, that's how big it is.
It's a huge house.
Oh, okay.
It's a big
all right,
house.
All right. I was off
It's
kilter.
a big house. Yeah, it's a big house. Mansion,
Around 2
full
floors.
house.
All right. Let's go 5.3.
5.3.
Mm.
The CV of this house, $24 million.
Oh my goodness.
$24 million New Zealand. You only take a third off.
My dad's never made that in his lifetime.
No, everybody's dad's never made this. If we put all our fucking dads together, all the money they ever made in their lifetimes, it's not $24 million. And you only take off a third to get into American money.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's 10 and you take off a third, that's 3, that's 6 for 20, right? So that's like 1.1, 1.3. Okay, so we're sitting on around, bro, we're still sitting like $15, $17 million, you know?
My goodness.
In American money. Do you know how much you could buy for that? $350,000 in Las Vegas gets you a 4-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms and a double garage.
That's a few hookers. A few dead ones.
That's
sorted out for
you. Could kill all the hookers.
Yeah,
for $24 million.
That's a whole hotel's worth of hookers.
That's the whole fuck a hotel. That's like Best Western full of hookers.
Yeah.
The
buy less of hookers.
But yeah, no. So $24 million. Ain't that crazy?
It certainly is, man.
It's been for sale for like 3 years.
Because
that's the other thing too about New Zealand.
Too wacky.
No, it's not even that. No one's got the money in this fucking city to drop $24 million fucking dollars on a house that expensive.
You know who Len Lyon is? Len Lyon's this he's this arty bloke who hails from New Plymouth, Taranaki, and does like all this like quirky like art there. And then it's constantly like doing like all this. It's contemporary modern art. It's modern art, and so he makes like all this weird shit. It's all somehow related back to like Maori heritage, which gets the funding. But he used to have all these like big crazy like parties and stuff like that, just outside of New Plymouth. But that was like they were loaded, dude.
Wow.
They were loaded. Like before he had his museum, because Len Lyon Museum, he opened it up himself. But before, especially didn't hear about it, but it's just because it's shitty New Zealand now. That's why it's not proper art. On the spectrum, I'm sure, of what you're used to. Sure. But yeah, it's like those guys were loaded. I feel like they might have been able to afford that Adam Families meets colorful, American colored style house. Perhaps. Okay. Give it to me. Shit in my face.
Every time I just flash back to 2 Girls, 1 Cup, and it just horrifies me.
Let's remember what I'm saying.
Okay.
We can put that on a shirt then.
There's a building going up, not too far from here. It's actually in Auckland City. It's down by the waterfront. There's a penthouse apartment.
Is this going to be like the prices are right for houses in Auckland?
Yeah. 2 floors. If you want it. You can only go 1 floor if you like. Ooh. But for 2 floors, you can have your own personal art gallery in there. Ooh. There's a wine cellar. Have you on a sommelier? There's a fucking thing, like a plant bed, trees growing inside the actual fucking apartment. But how much you doing that place is?
Let's go. Oh jeez. Well, I was way off.
Yeah.
Off kilter.
Yeah.
Let's go 10.
It's $40 million.
Oh, what? Wait, whereabouts again?
Here in the center city. Just
okay. 40.
You have your own helicopter pad. And because this is the thing I like to do. I like to call up real estate agents and I like to waste their time. And what I'll often do, and this is true, I will talk to them and say, listen, I represent a client with a lot of disposable income at the moment, wants to invest in New Zealand. I just want to find out some information, see if maybe this could be the right purchase or not.
That's so you.
And they go, yeah, cool. And so I'm talking to them about this fucking apartment, and I go, yeah, could you tell me a little bit more about the amenities and some of the some of the benefits that the body corporate has planned for the person who purchases this apartment. We just have quite a lot of things to tick off the list here, and we want to just make sure this is going to be the right investment. And they go, yeah, well, do you kind of like to go and use helicopters, because anything in the city is about 5 minutes, almost immediately by helicopter. Waiheke is like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes away by helicopter.
And that's it.
Yeah. And they go, oh, you can go down for golf. They said, well, we'll send you some information. I am reading this fucking pamphlet that they give to millionaires.
Oh, cool.
Right? About, this apartment and, blah, 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 blah. There's a helicopter service that will come and fucking land on the top of your apartment, the penthouse apartment.
The Lister?
Hey?
The Lister?
Yeah, no, right? But
that's where that's the name of this building.
And dude, holy shit. You want to play golf in fucking Caddy?
Okay.
20-minute helicopter ride.
Caddy. That's quite far away.
Yeah.
That's quite far away, dude.
They're like, hey, you want to go down to the Bay of Plenty?
Chop's good.
Dude, fucking quick. They go, hey, you want to play the Bay of Plenty? We'll just helicopter you down there. It's an hour's flight. Or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. It's just insane. Like, and reading like the kind of shit, so we have like an art gallery in the apartment for you, and we can bring your works of art here and we can gallery them. And the kitchen is fucking enormous. The whole thing, floor to ceiling windows. And there's a point where like you kind of walk in, and then you walk out, and it opens up. And the upper levels obviously are sort of on this side of the apartment. Floor to ceiling windows, 2 stories, and you're above the clouds, but you're also like way above the city. So you get this uninterrupted view, this panoramic view of just the whole city, and it's insane. So another apartment, chump change compared to the other one, 15 million. But again, like you get up there and it's like, can you imagine walking into this building, gorgeous lobby, beautiful receptionist sitting behind this perfectly manicured desk, and
she must have fucked you.
She might do.
Listen, you got to think that
she might be afraid of COVID, but she'll put a finger in your ass.
Yeah,
with the mask on
for 2 minutes.
Mask on, finger in the ass.
No questions asked.
Sometimes, look, if it's been a long pandemic, But can you imagine standing in the elevator? You just press that button, and of course the elevator's got fucking windows on it. But as you just begin to elevate, and you hear that low drone, and you can hear all like the city sounds and the hustling and bustling. But as you just get higher, just all the city sounds fade away, and you get to the 30th floor, and it's just
I would love to be rich, man. I would definitely love to be rich. I'm going to work hard at getting there. We've chosen a career path that would definitely be a good vehicle for that sort of thing. But it's not really for the image. I would just love to live in luxury. I'd love to relax. And maybe let's get back to like Auckland's and New Zealand's like image. But what about like self-image? Like it's not going to change us. I've been accused a lot of being like this like quirky, weird guy. I was very nervous in school. I was very awkward, and I didn't have a lot of like sort of social interactions growing up because like my sister and I weren't allowed out of the house. From my parents had fucked up upbringings as well. And they put it on us. They couldn't figure it out, and so like they sort of passed that on. That was our inheritance. But
parting gift.
But yeah, I mean, so like I struggled throughout school, so to shit. And when we left school, we went into the real world. That's when we started sort of like becoming ourselves. But like quite a few times, I always know I'm like a bit of a kooky, quirky guy, but I think I'm fine. But quite a few times I've been accused of like fucking autism, dude.
Right.
I feel like that's a classic self-image thing. Like people are they're self-conscious of their own image and like what they're giving and like the way that they're like they're portrayed. That's you. Times two. I'm done with it.
I do that same thing. As soon as it's 3 times, I'm like, all right, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like people are subconscious of their own of how they portray. See, that must seem strange.
Yeah, that was intense.
Comment in the comment on that. What you think out of 10? But yeah, I think people are insecure about their own thing, and so like when they meet someone who's like outlandish, but also like funny, or what they're like. People say you're a lot. People say you talk too much. I think I've just got a lot of like cool, fun things to say.
Yeah.
And the slap the autism label on it. Slap the like you're a freak, you're a weird guy. The weird guy one I get a lot. I used to get a lot.
Yeah.
But they slap that on as like a self-defense mechanism because they're like, oh shit, like I've got fucking nothing going on. I'm boring. It's the boring thing.
Right.
You meet a lot of boring people, and then they slap the weird sticker on you.
Yeah.
Because they're self-conscious.
Yeah.
Of how boring they are.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like a self-defense mechanism for me, perhaps?
No. I when I was quite young when I stopped trying to figure out what people were doing. You know what I mean? Like I've always been annoyingly introspective. But yeah, a lot of stuff comes from self-consciousness, and like people are such a, eternally sophisticated puzzle. I've always been a results-oriented guy, because I grew up that way. Like, I grew up with entrepreneurs parents. The way I grew up was always very much, it doesn't matter what you feel. Who gives a shit what your experiences are? Did you get the result?
Yeah.
No?
Okay.
Fuck you. Did you get it? Great. Well, you got it. What are you complaining about? So that was very much like how I grew up, So like the ends justify the means kind of thing. So like, I guess as much as it has been, my upbringing was a detriment. In a lot of ways, like I think that served me well in a lot of ways, because like I never really, because I was a social outcast for like literally all of my schooling until the last 2 years, when I kind of figured out how to be a normal human being.
Right.
And I'd moved to a different school, and I ended up being like, I actually ended up being really popular, but like.
And what about like,
what
about that period of time? Were you ever labeled as weird or sort of?
Yeah.
Or have you just, like you said, you learned to chameleon?
I pretty much learned to chameleon. I learned to click pretty well. I became very funny. I was always funny as a result of that, but like I don't think I was as funny as I became later as an adult. Because I was a pretty kid, and then like those last 2 years of my schooling, I was lean and I was pretty, and I'm like and then I kind of fell into this kind of weird relationship, and I ended up becoming super fat, like 115 kilos fat, and then I had to really develop a personality, because it's like all the outlandish, ridiculous shit that I would say. As a lean, beautiful 18-year-old,
getting away with that shit.
Yeah, you'd get away with it. They'd be like, "Oh God, he's so funny. He's so good. God, he's such. He doesn't give a shit. He's so funny." And then at 115 kilos, it's like, "Ew, who the fuck is this? Like degenerate? Like what the fuck?" And it's true. People say like, "Oh yeah," but like the way you present yourself, the way you look, is super important in the world. It doesn't mean that your value is tied to your weight, or that like you have to be some beautiful person to be valued.
No,
that's not true. But it's like, the way that, because the thing about being super fat, which I figured out quite like early on, was that it's like,
it can fuck up sort of like first instances when you're like first sort of acquaintances when you're that age. I think when we're like towards more of our age, it doesn't really matter too much.
It doesn't really matter so much, but I think people want to know if they can trust you or not. And I think when you're super fat and you're weird, what happens is that it becomes a thing where they go, okay, this guy can't make good decisions. Because it's like, because you don't get that fat by eating one cake. Like you and me can go right now, we can go eat a whole fucking cake, bro. We can go buy 2 cakes, we can eat them all our own. And tomorrow when we wake up, we're not going to be 300 pounds. You know what I mean? But it's like, oh, you've consistent, and it's like a very primal thing. It's a very subconscious thing. It's never a super conscious thing. But it's like, oh, this person consistently has betrayed themselves and made terrible decisions to land them in this place, I don't know if I trust their judgment. Because if you ever look at like people who are very fat, they get taken, they get taken less seriously than people who are, I guess, like leaner at a fighting weight, because it's like, oh, are we going to trust what Jared says? Jared's 300 pounds.
When I was working,
Jared can't eat a fucking salad, and we're going to trust what he says about the vaccine? No.
When I was working in warehousing, there was like this. We had like a manual lifting, like health in the workplace. Thing. And it's this big fucking fat guy who was taking it, and like no one could take him seriously. He was like sweating profusely, and like this well conditioned like room, like while he was like talking to us about like lifting safely, and like no one fucking took him seriously. Like, he was like coming at us, he was like like no one's listening, no one's participating. Like, this is supposed to be like a participationary sort of like a ordeal, and no one trusted them. No one gave a fuck.
Yeah,
it was a giant fat guy talking about moving correctly,
lifting safely.
And taking care of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, so I grew a personality. I think I just became more of myself. I had to learn the hard. I have ADHD, right? So I don't really perceive the passing of time. So it's like any trauma or pain, I have to grow wise enough to rationalize it, because the passing of time doesn't heal it at all. You know, whereas like a lot of people, like the passing of time, they're like, it was a long time ago, I can get over it.
I've forgotten about it.
Yeah, but for me, like this, the suffering is eternal until I can grow past it. So it's like you go through it until you grow through it. And but that also means love as well, which can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, in like a multitude of ways. Because like in relationships, I found that like I still feel the same about a person, because like again, the passing of time, I don't really perceive it the same way. Whereas like people will move on, they'll change. I'm still very much in this, you know, I still feel the same, because it's not the passing of time that affects it. It's more like the content of that relationship. So like, yeah, it's weird. So I grew this personality, and I think I became more of myself, and I rationalized it. And then I began to lose like hella weight. And, you know, I came down the scales a lot, and then people were
looking great.
Yeah, thank you. I still have a long way to go, but yeah, so I get what you mean. Like, yeah, like that label kind of gets like stuck on you, and it's more like a, oh, this is fucking weird. Yeah. But then you also figure out that like no one's life's perfect, you know, like everyone is suffering eternally. You know what I mean?
You don't have to,
like, nobody's life is good.
I guess it always annoyed me a few times. I'm like, but then I sort of like, when I looked into it, I was kind of like, well, you know, it's fine. You know, you can just say something like that. It's all right. You know, you're obviously just like protecting your own insecurities, and it's not that big a deal. You know, we can still. It's not like I'm going to write you off as a friend or whatever, and like, you know, it's no biggie. Just like, I know who I am, and it's all that really matters.
Yeah, you know, listen, all the world is suffering eternally, and it just doesn't become a very big deal what people say. I think when you have to grow to that point, because it's weird, because like a lot of people care what others think, but I think it's because it's like you just never had to be in that place where you could not give a shit.
Yeah.
Either to survive or like whatever it was.
Hitting rock bottom is a good thing. Like I've hit it once, and it was like I just hit it emotionally. It wasn't like it wasn't like a financial thing or something like that. But I've hit it once, and it leveled me the fuck out. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
What do I really have?
Yeah.
What do I actually have to hold on to? And like it wasn't really family. It wasn't like I had like I had like a few friends for sure, but I'm like, fuck, what do I really have to like sort of call my own? And like I'm like, oh, what do those even matter anyway? I've got myself, and I've, you know, and now I can build up, and all the things that I was sort of doing were like in sort of they were in a weird interaction to like influences in my life, and I wasn't sort of being myself completely. Yeah. And that was a while back now, but it was a really sort of big step forward in my life to go back to zero and figure out why I was doing things. Yeah, just figuring out sort of like why I was just doing, like even just sort of like very small, that you think were insignificant sort of things, the way you act, the way the way you think about certain, like the processes you have that are in your life. Why those were there. Rock bottom's, it's good, man. You want a glass?
I'll have a small one.
But yeah, I mean, it's good to know what you want and why you think about things. And
sometimes I wish I didn't think. Like sometimes I wish I was a one
not
guy.
introspective.
I sometimes wish that I was that guy, you know, when they ask, "Oh my God, John, how are you?" I would just go, "Yes."
Having Down syndrome would be great. Yeah. Old what's his name? Shane Gus is sort of great, but it's like I've got a few like people who have Down syndrome in my family, and it's like, yeah, it's the best. I would love it. You know, he's like being a human. It's like being a cat. And like not being a human, being like not having Down syndrome, it's like being a cat. Having Down syndrome, it's like being a dog.
Yeah.
Like everything's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But that's like a very severe a very severe form of not having any introspection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everything became so serious during the pandemic. Like what I realized is that what I really want is a Britney. Like exactly who you imagined is what I want, you know, like
a Spinners.
Yeah, even better than that. It's like, you know, she's got a convertible Volkswagen Beetle teacup Chihuahua.
She'd never fucking shaved her head.
Genuinely upset by the deletions in the Gucci catalog.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's right.
Because I'm the fucking moron with 159 IQ. That's you know waking up at 3 in the morning going, I'm like, why the fuck do I exist? Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I have no idea why the fuck I'm here. Like, I didn't ask to be born. You know what I mean? Like, I have to deal with all this other shit, fucking family issues, this issues, that issues. I gotta find a way to make money, blah, blah, blah. What's this like inhuman, like aggressive drive to make money? Like, I was born with a Caesar or nothing gene. Like, what I want to be Caesar, but like, what if I end up being nothing? Am I gonna hang myself at 35? Fucking, and this woman just rolls over and just at 3 a.m. and just goes, "Oh my God, you look like you need a cucumber water." And I just break down and I'm just like, yeah, I fucking do. And she brings it up. She's got no fucking idea. You know, it's like, listen, this is
fantastic standard.
This is what she is, right? In the beginning, God created heaven and the earth, and the earth was without form, and the Spirit of God floated upon the face of the deep. And that's Brittany.
Yeah.
She's deep as fuck. There's just nothing down there. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so that's an old bit of mine. But yeah,
it's funny.
That's what I want.
That's real funny.
That's like I want.
I'm like, do you just come over there? I'm like,
no, it's an old bit of mine. I came up with it when I was on the phone with a friend having a mental breakdown. And I was just screaming on the phone and they went, "That's really funny. You should use that as a bit." And I'm like, yeah, and then I was healed.
Oh, that's hilarious. I don't have a high IQ at all, but I have all the same sort of I definitely have a lot of issues. Introspective issues.
That probably means you got a high IQ. Like, just the more unhappy you are with the general state of being, I think the smarter you are.
Oh well, that's one positive. Yeah, I want to achieve. Constantly wanting to achieve. I have like I was talking to a buddy today about it, but like not even really. I'm realizing it at work. He goes, we're talking. He's like, "Oh, I had like a big night out on Saturday with my buddy. We're drinking whatever." And then like Saturday, Sunday, like it's basically just a write-off. And I go to him, yeah, man, like I can't really have like big nights anymore. Like they don't mean anything. Like otherwise, because like I just get so depressed the next day because I've done nothing. Like if I wake up really hungover and I wake up, I have some food, I try and go for a fucking exercise or a walk or whatever, like it's not anything big. I try and do anything, and then I want to go back for another nap because I'm fucking hungover. I'm so depressed for the next few days about the time I've wasted because of like that's time I'm never gonna get back.
Right.
I've wasted that time, and that's something I could have been using that time like productively. And he kind of he didn't really understand. He's only 21. Bless his heart.
Yeah.
Bless him. But yeah, and he's 21. So we can leave it at that. I'm not trying to put him down or anything like that. It sounds better. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, things like that. Oh shit, it all gets to my parents. I understand it, man. Your parents seem like they're very driven people. My parents are certainly not. They're very happy with their mundane. Every day they've got their hobbies. Yeah. Mum's only just picked up hobbies in the last fucking 4 or 5 years of her life, and she's 62. You know? Right. She's only just sort of started doing stuff apart from like talking to her sisters on the phone and talking to her buddies. around the world. But that was her hobby, talking to her friends.
Yeah.
And so that's my grassroots.
Yeah.
I think I must have got my granddad's genes or some shit.
You probably might have. We're a makeup of our 4 grandparents, not our 2 parents, which is why it's genes skip a generation apparently. Yeah, no, I was given the old bloodlust fucking conquest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The Romans.
Yeah, listen.
I got the nose.
Yeah, well, it's a very nice nose actually, and there's a lot of life drawing classes I would very much appreciate to have you there.
It's a beak. It's a big old thing. It's got its own personality.
Look that way for a second.
Check out this bad boy.
Yeah, no, but that's a very nice, but it's very well chiseled.
This is all that the podcastees stare at. It's this big. It's just like this.
Well, it's very proportional to your face. It's not like, oh my holy shit. So there's like a lot of plastic. Yeah, there's a lot of plastic surgeries. Like plastic surgery pages that will crop up on my newsfeed. I saw a guy who legit, like, it was unproportional. He looked like a Pixar character. Like his nose, like he had like a normal sort of face, and then his nose was like, I'm not even kidding. Like it was up to here. It was like this big. It was huge. And then he turned like profile. His profile it was like out to here, and then but it was sort of like here-ish, dude.
Well, I'm glad mine's not that bad.
Bro, it was fucking crazy. And then they gave him like a rhinoplasty, right? And so like he had this fucking, it's
gigantic syndrome. Gigantic syndrome.
Yeah,
just his nose.
Just his nose. But he was fucking beautiful after that. But it was just crazy. Like, fuck.
Yeah. What the fucking dude?
Yeah. So you got a great nose because like some people gotta go pay like tens of thousands of dollars, to get get it shaved down or get someone to
fix that.
Yeah, fix it.
Fix that face. Fix that face.
If you or anyone you know is struggling with body image,
tune in next week.
Yeah. Listen, you don't have dysmorphia. You're just fat and ugly.
Yeah. You can fix that. You're not big bone, don't you?
I think it was
and you're not beautiful.
Yeah. No, there was some fucking Reddit thing that was just like, how do I let my 14-year-old daughter know that she doesn't have body dysmorphia? She's just fat and ugly. And like
it's coming back, man. It's coming back.
You know how 4chan will take like stills from what's that movie where Christian Bale was a psychopath?
Oh yeah. It's I think you're close.
With the business cards and shit as well.
American Psycho.
That's the American Psycho.
Terrible book, by the way. Everyone like raves about the book. It's terrible.
I've never read the book.
Oh, damn! You don't need.
I'm the opposite to most people. Most people are like, oh my god, you got to read the book. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. I want to watch the movie. If the movie was good, that's great. I don't want to read the book. Because
book is good.
I'm sure the book was great.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was.
No
disrespect. I'm a very voracious reader, but
voracious,
like a very big appetite for books. Oh. I'll devour books very, very quickly.
That makes sense.
But I just don't want to watch the movie books.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, The Notebook. It was such a great movie, but the book was better. I've never watched or read either. The book was better. Cool. I'm not gonna read it.
Yeah.
I liked the movie.
You've already now read the book in a sense.
Here's a story, and you can consume it one of two ways.
Yeah.
I've consumed it
this way or this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to understand the psychology of what this guy was thinking when he asked this woman to put a finger in his ass.
I think it's like almost like the height of.
I just want to see it.
Yeah, it's also not the height, but it is definitely a form of depression and insanity. It's like watching the movie first, or I would say watching the movie first and thinking, okay, they got books. I'm now can like assume the same thing, just in a different form, but it's going to take me fuckloads longer.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like some books, I've read some books, and they're fucking great books, and you read them, and it's such an enriching experience. There's an old quote that I really love. The massive men lead one lifetime, but the man who reads lives 1,000.
Some of them are. I mean, this book, House of Leaves, dude. It's like 785 pages.
Right.
I finished it. It's my second read for it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like talking. I've just spoke badly of the depressed and the height of insanity to read something in a different way. I read the exact same book again.
Yeah.
But I just enjoyed it so much to do it again. But I read that in about 4 days.
Shit.
but I just enjoy it so much.
Yeah. Look, but
Reading's fun, man. Reading's great.
Yeah.
You there's nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the. Yeah, I mean, the older I've got, which I'm not that old, but the sitting in that chair or sitting in my beanbag with a pillow behind me, slouched in a terrible sort of dexterous position. Reading a book is as sort of as far as enjoyment goes.
listen, that's what it is.
Love reading.
Staring at tree slices and hallucinating fucking vividly.
Mm.
I like that. That feels like a good place to leave it.
That's right. Yeah. Tune in next week for
Well, we're gonna
less.
Tune in next week. We're gonna read the Hunger Games, like out on the pod.
ASMR.
Mm.
ASMR stuff. ASMR.
That's what it is.
Anyway. Yeah, it's better than last episode.
Let's
Yeah.
go to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, man.
I've been buzzing for the last